Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/comedy podcast network. Over 100,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player.
Hey there, everybody in podcast land, and welcome to another Sports Podcast. I'm Joel Anderson.
I'm Jordan Pomaville.
And joining us, as always, is the sports outsider, Phil Ranta.
I'm way outside.
Ball
one.
We're going to start calling you Ball One.
That was a
There we
sports
go.
joke.
That was a sports joke.
Speaking of
I
which, Phil,
understand the jokes.
Does that mean that you... Did you catch any sports this week?
I saw tons of sports this week, you guys. So many sports to watch.
Well,
I watched a lot of sports.
tons. Did you catch the All-Star game?
No.
Aha!
What?
that was pretty much all there was this whole week, Phil.
Oh, but what about I watched all these mud wrestlings and face punchings.
Calling
Isn't
bullshit.
that a sport?
Calling bullshit in this.
Yeah, I didn't watch any sports.
Yeah, of
this
course you
week.
didn't.
I didn't watch any sports.
There's no sports. I mean, there's a little sports. There's the All-Star game, but
On the whole, very little sports
Yeah.
this week.
Yeah.
the day after the All-Star game, the only day of the year with no professional sports schedule.
What about cricket?
Are there WNBA games? There might be WNBA
Yeah,
games.
we only talk about the four major sports
Yeah.
in this podcast.
Oh, okay.
Except for sports that are deemed weird.
Right.
Yeah.
We talk about those. You goddamn right we do.
We have one of those.
We're going to have one of those this week.
Can you believe that women play basketball?
Oh, that's going to be a weird sport eventually.
sport. Yeah. Well,
Weird sports. Woo.
All right. Well, on the intro here,
okay. What are we talking about?
Penn State says no publicity is bad publicity.
Oh boy.
Did they really say that?
No.
Oh, okay.
This is soul crushing, really. I mean, it's so awful it hurts to even talk about.
Here's the thing. Since it was such a slow sports week, I thought for this podcast, I would read the entire free report right here.
Wait, you've got the
This
entire
is
report.
267 pages.
Wait, is that really? Did
This
you
is-
print all that out?
Yeah.
It's like a Bible.
I know.
It's
Check
like
it
a
out.
really raunchy Bible.
Actual emails sent. So we're going to read this as the lengthy setup and then read Joe Paterno and Paterno family quotes as the punchlines.
Okay.
Oh, jeez.
Are we gonna have enough time to read the entire thing?
No, I was just doing a bit.
Oh, okay. All right.
I was just doing a
I
bit.
can just
Thank
sum it
goodness.
up. America's roller coast.
Yeah. Needless to
Sandusky,
say,
Ohio.
yeah, Joe Paterno, as it would turn out, not the sort of person that you want to look up to.
No,
Period.
but he
And-
still
and-
has defenders.
Which
still has
I mean,
defenders.
I was
It's just
a
baffling.
measured defender for some period after the initial allegations. Not completely defending him,
Right,
but on the
right.
par of, well, this was a sin of omission. He didn't do enough, but you know, a lot of people in a similar situation would make similar mistakes, and now no, that's out the window.
Yeah, no.
That's ridiculous. It was a cover up. That's unacceptable.
That's sad.
But guys,
What?
over 40 years, he gave 22-year-old men communication degrees. Doesn't that count for something?
No, I thought the
not
college
anymore.
Doesn't
did
that count for something?
He was
talking-
taking them away from their studies.
You're talking to one of the guys who would have gone for that up until now. So yeah.
All right, so then because it's such a slow sports week, they had the ESPYs,
Oh.
which is, as you know, the most retarded award show ever.
Yeah, hosted by Rob Riggle this year.
Hey, I
He's
love
funny.
Rob
He's
Riggle.
funny.
I
I'm a
like Rob Riggle, too.
fan.
I do not
UCB New
think-
York guy.
I do not think that this was the right gig for Mr. Riggle. I do not think award show hosting really captures his talent.
Well, it's not a real award show. The awards they give out are Best NBA Player. The NBA has that award. It's called the MVP. They
Yeah.
also give it out yearly.
Oh, they don't give away like fun ones like the MTV Movie Awards, like Best Kiss.
They do. There's best play, best team.
Best upset.
Yeah.
Hey, there we go.
Did Verlander win best athlete?
I didn't watch the ESPYs. You kidding me?
Well, how are we gonna do the recap, guys?
All right, scrap that sound effect.
that's the Sandusky trial papers again.
Yeah.
That's all you're reading the whole podcast.
Oh. What else? I wanted to say this. Did you guys watch the home run derby? Well, Phil didn't.
No.
The home run derby.
I didn't watch it, but I saw the results.
Robinson Cano booed viciously
Viciously booed.
because he did not select a hometown guy
Yeah.
Billy Butler to be on the home run derby team.
Billy Butler, not traditionally a strong home run hitter.
The Butler did it.
Billy Butler, a great hitter,
Right.
but he's a gap hitter, a doubles guy.
Right. It was actually a CBS Sports podcast I was listening to said he would have been in the doubles derby.
Well, yeah.
Which I thought,
The double D.
That's too funny to not steal.
Yeah.
But then and I thought better, and I thought I'd give him credit. But no, he was booed viciously, and I just thought it was hilarious television to watch his dad throw him pitches while he's booed and hits no home runs.
Oh,
Yeah.
And
that's
he's a
sad.
Yankee, so I don't feel
Yeah.
bad.
It's hard to feel. I mean, and that said, Robinson Cano, maybe one of the most admirable of the Yankees.
Yeah, great ball player.
But that's in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. So
Is that true?
Yeah.
I've never been to the land of the blind before.
Oh, you got to go, Phil.
There's
Especially
a
if
one-eyed
you have,
man there? I could
Yeah,
go.
and if-
I want to
he's
see
the
a
king.
Cyclops.
He's the king. But if you
King Cyclops of
If-
the land of the blind.
Phil,
However-
if you go there with two eyes, you're completely the king shit.
Coup
Right,
d'etat,
exactly,
total
yeah.
coup.
Be like,
Total
I'm
coup
twice
d'etat.
as good as your king.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because goodness is measured by the amount of eyes.
Well, depth perception, actually.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
is what is measured.
I don't know. Maybe the one-eyed man has 20 vision. Took you guys a second.
It did.
Oh man, like
Oh,
the old
man.
news magazine.
I
All
should
right,
write for
come
the
on.
New Yorker.
Let's not dilly-dally. What else do we have on the docket?
Well, we're gonna do countdown to the Olympics.
Oh, yep. Olympics update watch countdown.
You're damn right, and we're gonna
Yeah.
talk about.
But don't we have Bud Selig on the podcast?
Yeah, but I was gonna say we're gonna talk about, I believe, Olympic torchbearers. In the
Oh,
Olympics
yeah,
section.
we are going to talk about Olympic torchbearers in the update watch countdown. Oh,
I do like watching the torchbearers, so this is kind of exciting for me. As you know, I'm an Olympics watcher. I don't watch anything else, but I
Yep.
zone out in the Olympics, and I like the people who hold the torch over their head majestically
Stoically,
while
yeah.
music is
yeah.
playing.
Well, there has been a little controversy about this year's torchbearers.
Uh-oh.
Go figure. So we'll
America's roller
we'll
coaster.
dig into that one. No, Jerry Sandusky is not an Olympic torchbearer.
Because that would be
That would-
controversial.
It would be really hard, I think, for the Olympic Committee to explain that one.
Yeah.
How they got him out of jail to take him to England to
It's
run
better
with the
than
torch.
the drops of iron with cameras for eyes, I guess.
yeah, the
No,
mascot.
I would argue that having Jerry Sandusky be torchbearer
Well,
would,
you know,
would in
things
fact
are
be
different.
worse.
Different sexual mores in Europe.
That's true. That's a more.
All right, we got Bud Selig as our special guest, MLB Commissioner Bud Selig. I'm super excited to talk to him.
Yes, all right. Yeah.
He's a commissioner of baseball. I'm a
Yeah.
huge baseball fan.
All right.
I heard he's kind of a square, though. We'll see how it goes.
A little bit of a goober.
And I've never heard of him, so.
Okay, well.
Let's make for a great interview.
It will. yeah.
So this will be interesting.
Not do my research. Yeah.
Last thing here, I have some before we dive into it.
Yeah.
Some MLB second half predictions.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Are these Jordan's MLB second half
Yes.
predictions?
So
Okay.
they're not trademarked Valiant prophecies.
Okay.
Right.
They're
Okay.
just regular old predictions.
All right. Let's
All right.
hear him.
Chipper Jones' farewell tour will come to a close at Turner Field Sunday, September 30th. Dubbed Chipper Jones Day, there won't be a dry eye in the house because the Carolina Panthers will have upset the Falcons earlier that day. Jamie Moyer, playing with a minor league team in Florida, will watch the highlights of the festivities in the team's weight room while listening to Another One Bites the Dust and nodding his head. Oh, yeah.
I don't get it.
The New York Mets' second half collapse will begin when they trade David Wright for cash considerations after team owners fall victim to another scam, investing in a non-existent silver mine owned by Snidely Whiplash.
I don't get it.
Snidely Whiplash.
No, I know Snidely Whiplash. I don't know anything.
They invested in the
I don't know
Madoff scheme.
Snidely.
Oh, okay, cool.
R.A. Dickey will continue his knuckleball dominance in discussing the sexual abuse he faced as a child, while neglecting to point out that his last name being Dickey is at least sort of funny given the circumstances.
Okay.
America's roller
Yeah.
coaster.
Pittsburgh Pirates make the postseason, proving once and for all that the MLB does not need a hard salary cap because small market teams can compete for playoff spots in between 20-year stretches of playing miserable, god-awful baseball. The Toronto Blue Jays will finish with the best record of any last-place team, 84-78. Missing out in the second wild card by 2 games will provide little consolation. The Chicago Cubs are going to suck. That was actually plagiarized from every season prediction ever.
Yep.
I got that one.
Thank you. And Albert Pujols will receive a comically large Lordy Lordy Look Who's 40 birthday card from his mom. He will claim it was meant for his brother, Philip Diaz. Felipe Pujols. All right, and that's MLB's second half prediction.
All right, let's get this party started.
All right, let's go.
All right, Phil, I am stoked for this.
I am confounded.
You would be.
Yes.
But we have in our studio Commissioner Alan Bud Selig.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Oh, I'm great, Bud. How are you?
I'm doing great. Hey Jordan.
Hey.
Nice to see you again. Hi there, Phil. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's good to meet you, bud.
Go baseball.
Hey,
Well, that's
man.
the most general cheer I've ever heard in my life.
Well, it's the
Well-
greatest game in the world, Phil.
All right.
Oh, Bud.
There's a lot of great games out there. I am one to definitely admit, but I do have to say that it's my personal opinion that baseball is the best one.
Well,
But I don't want to offend anybody by saying that, so I will say all those other games are pretty good too.
Hey, Bud, I got a question for you. Did you name your son Bud Light?
Oh, you're a cut 'em up, aren't you, Phil?
Yeah, he's like
That's a good
he's like
joke.
a funny grandpa.
It's a good joke.
never would happen. He's from Milwaukee. This guy is MGD.
Miller guy, not to come down on the people who like their Bud. Bud is a fine beer too. But Miller, my opinion, the better brew.
All right, I don't think anyone was offended.
All right.
Sure.
Well, I just want to make sure.
Let's dive right in.
You're so excited.
Well, this is the best. This is my favorite guest of all time.
Okay, cool.
Another successful All-Star week. Okay.
Oh, thank you. I thought so.
And now we're on the 10th anniversary of Making It Count, where the All-Star game determines home field advantage in the World Series. The league that wins the All-Star game will have home field advantage in the World Series. Now, there's a lot of people who criticize this. How would you respond to those critics?
Oh, well, I think that having the game really count for something is kind of important. It's like, when you go to your Little League game and they got to get all of the players into the game and it's still fun, isn't it?
Yeah, but then I'm always shoved in left field, and then I never get to do anything.
Oh, well,
It's probably how it should be, Phil.
yeah.
Well, I was a horribly awkward child and a horribly awkward adult.
Well, just imagine if millions and millions of dollars were riding on your Little League game.
I felt like it was.
Oh.
It's what my parents
Oh,
treated
dear.
it like.
Well, anyway, it happened. Now, people have
Very painful.
People have criticized.
Very painful childhood.
Well, I'm sorry, Phil. Can I get you something to drink?
How about a Bud Light? Still got
Oh, you guys.
Oh.
I knew this was one of them comedy cut-em-up podcasts when I came on.
We are nothing if not cut-ups.
That's
Yeah,
true.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now a lot of people are critical of how you handled steroids. Said that you may have turned a blind eye or looked the other way and allowed the game to grow after the devastating strike of '94 at the expense of the integrity of the game.
Oh, well, I don't know what else to tell you, but I just didn't know that they were doing that. I just assumed that the fact that people were hitting more home runs than they had ever hit before and that they were also much bigger and more muscular than before. I just thought the guys were spending a little more time in the gym.
Oh, but nowadays there's less time. They have to take your kids to school, and there's less time to work out, right? I
Well,
mean, back in the day,
They
you
are
could work out all the time. 'Cause there wasn't
they're
anything to do.
professional baseball players. Their job is to work out. And so I don't know how you could possibly have
There's
had
no
it-
school in the summer.
Oh,
Bulk of the games played in the summer.
sure.
This is true.
Still, they've got to sleep with their mistresses, and they've got to build cribs.
I don't know what you're talking about. These are a bunch of wholesome young men, and, even though it wasn't explicitly against the rules, I just felt like everybody understood that you shouldn't be taking steroids. And then, the fact that a couple of bad eggs were out there doing drugs. Drugs that were not legal here in the United States. I was appalled.
It was more than a couple of bad eggs, though, Bud. I don't mean to be hard on you. It was more like...
Oh, okay.
It was
there
more
a
like that
lot
scene
of
in
them.
Captain America where they were all entering that chamber and then coming out as beast men.
Well, I didn't see that movie. Was that PG-13? Because I don't see anything higher than PG.
I actually don't know. Probably was PG-13.
I think it was, Bud.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that explains why I didn't see it. I don't know about Beast Men, but I don't know. Who could have thought that such nice young men were doing such bad things?
I would have guessed it.
Okay. The All-Star festivities, how do you enjoy them? What is your role in the All-Star game? Do you get to see a lot of these fine young men you're talking about?
I absolutely love the All-Star game for just that reason, is I get to spend a lot of time with these fine, upstanding young gentlemen as they come in, and some of the finest ball players you've ever met, and you learn interesting new things about them and their hobbies.
Ooh, dish the dirt.
Oh, well,
I want to
it's
hear
not
this.
dirt.
I do want to hear some hobbies.
Yeah.
Here's something that you'll probably find pretty surprising.
All
A
right.
lot of these guys are real green thumbs. They're into gardening. Some of them have indoor lighting set up in a lot of their houses so that they can grow plants indoors.
Wait a second. That sounds kind of like the hydroponics, like what you used to grow marijuana.
Yeah, that actually
Whoa!
sounds like marijuana. It
Yeah.
sounds like pot.
Well, usually all other
obviously.
plants are grown
Well, here's the
outdoors.
thing: it couldn't possibly be marijuana.
Why?
Marijuana's illegal.
So if that was true, then no one would ever
Are
smoke
people
marijuana.
still doing marijuana?
Yeah, on my off
jeepers,
days.
I would have thought they'd stop by
they kind
now.
of-
It's been illegal for a while.
To be fair, they could be growing tomatoes hydroponically.
Well,
You
that's
can-
true.
That's
Yeah,
well,
it could
that's
be
my.
tomatoes.
I did not
Were
see
they green
any
plants
of the.
or were there red? Were there
Well, they
big
were
red bulbs?
they were green.
Okay,
They
that was
were
definitely
fairly
pot.
large,
That was
but it
definitely pot.
could have been some different type of tomato. But
You know,
let's-
let's what else?
Okay,
Give me
well-
another hobby, maybe something a little more wholesome.
All right. Well, let me say this. I mean, this is a little sad actually, but I do think a lot of them are actually suffering from diabetes.
Oh.
Oh my
Yeah,
God!
I know that's real sad, but I mean,
How I did not know there was that.
oh
many.
yeah, I spend a lot of time with him, and I don't see him testing much, but I do see him doing a lot of injections, and I know that's
Freeze.
Oh man, Bud.
That's what baseball players do to do steroids.
what.
They inject themselves.
Yeah, that was the big thing of steroids. They inject themselves with steroids, but
But
come on.
steroids are illegal, and now they know too. Ever since the whole we went in front of Congress.
Right.
Right.
And I assumed you sent out memos.
There were many memos.
Yeah.
I wanted to let everybody know, hey, some of you guys have been taking steroids, and that's just jeepers. It's illegal.
I guarantee they're still doing it.
All right. Well, I don't
Okay,
want to.
all right. Well,
I don't
all
wanna
right,
ruin
well,
the. You
a
know,
lot of
let's-
them, they always introduce me to, I call them their winky friends.
Winky friends.
So-
Winky friends.
sounds
they
gross
always
already.
it's funny because they introduce me to them, and they're always just the nicest young ladies, in really good shape. Clearly, a group of young ladies who work out a lot. And whenever they say, "Oh, this is my friend," they wink at me as if to say, "I
Oh.
think wink, wink. This is one of my better friends, and I'm introducing him to you."
The
bud."
mistresses.
What do
These
you
are
mean they're mistresses? These
that
are.
means they're
This
extracurricular
really sounds
activities.
like they're mistresses.
I don't
Bud.
follow
This really,
mistresses. What do you mean by
you're
mistresses?
Married, you're married to a wife, and then if you get some strange on the side, then that's a mistress.
Strange what on the side?
Like having sex with women who aren't your wife.
Oh, well, they couldn't be doing that.
Why?
They are, Bud.
The vows of matrimony are
Oh,
sacred.
come on. You had to have seen the Tiger Woods stuff.
Well, he's a golfer.
Oh, I see. I see.
Can't be like baseball, can it?
Yeah.
Well,
I
among
think
other
golfing
things-
is-
Well, let's. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, they had a balloon swallowing contest before they got in the plane.
no,
What?
no,
No,
next.
no,
What,
come
tell me
on.
something
That's-
good. Tell me something
Okay,
good.
well, they play a lot of pranks too. They locked me out of the hotel suite, the party suite. A lot of cut 'em ups, those guys, aren't they?
Well, that sounds reasonable. That's
That's not too bad.
that's
yeah.
not too
Okay.
bad.
And then the last thing, and this is pretty crazy, but they're real ambassadors for the game. They're really trying to spread it internationally. A lot of them, and I found this really interesting, were keeping a lot of very young Ukrainian folks, women, entirely women actually, keeping them. They must have also been diabetic because they were injecting them periodically.
Whoa, are you saying that there's
Oh.
an Eastern European
God.
sex trade going on with
God.
your ball players?
sex
Are you,
trade?
you
Yes,
can't
that's
be
what it
serious. You can't have seen
No.
all this.
Didn't you
The
see the
nice
movie
young
Taken?
ladies, they seemed really sleepy. I'll
Of
say
course
that.
they
probably
are.
Oh my
weren't
God, they're
getting
addicted
enough
to
rest.
heroin.
Oh, geez.
Heroin
But
is
we
illegal.
can't
How
be
can
privy
they
to
be
this.
addicted
You
to
have to
heroin?
get out.
I can't
You
fucking
have to
believe.
get out of Comedy Podcast Network
I'm
Studios.
sorry, bud.
What?
Yeah, I'm sorry. You gotta go. We
You
gotta
gotta-
privy
I
to this
didn't mean to
information.
offend you
I'm
guys.
gonna have
I
to
was
take
just
that
trying
country
to be
time lemonade
friendly.
from ya.
No.
Oh, jeepers.
And now it's time for another Weird Sports. Weird Sports.
What do you got for us this week, Phil?
This week's Weird Sport.
And why don't we just point out last week's? particularly good.
Yeah.
Last week was that crazy commando run thing.
Yeah,
that
tough guy.
Killed people. Yeah, tough guy.
Well,
Tough
this
guy
one's
I thought that was
even
2
tougher,
weeks
guys.
ago.
Was that 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
What was last
Yeah.
week?
I don't remember anymore.
Must have not been that
Ooh.
weird.
I was so hopped up on jelly beans, I didn't know what was going on. But this week's weird sport, snail racing.
Get to the point.
Snail racing is a pastime that involves the racing of 2 or more air-breathing land snails.
Wait.
That makes it
You're
sound more
telling me
badass.
I can't race my aquatic snails?
Nope.
That is
Land-breathing,
fucking bullshit.
air-breathing
is what that
land
is.
snails.
I will say, I know from experience, my girlfriend has a snail.
Wait, what? This is
No, for real. She has a fish tank. In it is an aquatic snail. Sucker
Really?
moves quicker than any land snail I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah.
Like a mile an hour? Because that would be quicker than any
I
land
just
snail,
think
right?
snail racers can't handle the extreme snail action that you get from aquatic snails.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Land snails take it a little easy, right? They're listening to 311 and cruising, right?
All right.
Yeah. Well, the kind of snail has to be a terrestrial pulmonate gastropod mollusk.
Right. That's just the medical term for what you just said.
Oh, okay. Usually the common garden snail species Helix aspersa is used. This species is native to Europe, but has been accidentally introduced to many countries all over the world. Woo! When that happened, that's when the shit went down. That's right.
So what if you got like one of those racing snails from the Never-Ending Story?
No, you
No?
can't do it.
Even though it's called a racing snail?
Well, yeah, because it has to be Helix aspersa. It's got to be
Right.
Well, it might be. Maybe it's one of
Okay,
them.
so how do you get the snails to race?
Well, let me just finish with the backstory. There are
Right,
numerous
okay.
snail racing events that take place in different places all around the world, though the majority take place in
England.
United Kingdom. Yes,
Oh my
that's right.
gosh. It's
All
the
the weird
gift that
sports.
keeps on giving.
It does. Snail races usually take place on a circular track with the snails starting in the middle and racing to the perimeter.
Oh, that makes sense.
You don't want to give
Yeah.
them a direction. You know why? They'll get lost.
They're snails.
They're snails. They'll start running around circles. Snails aren't bright, y'all.
What do snails eat? I was picturing like a little piece of lettuce on a very slow-moving arm.
Yeah.
Like the rabbit for the greyhound.
I actually don't know what they eat, but I imagine they eat something that they can convert to goo easily, like dirt or water.
Other goo.
I don't
Yeah,
think-
other goo. They
I
just
don't
eat
think
each
they
other's
eat dirt.
goo all
I don't
day.
think they eat dirt. I'm going to go out on a limb here.
Yeah.
I don't
They're
think
goo-
anybody...
Bunch of goo eaters, right?
Hey!
Oh, look at them bunch of goo eaters over there. The race usually takes place, or the track usually takes the form of a damp cloth atop a table. Gotta be a damp cloth.
Yep.
Snails will dry out and die. Throw salt on a snail.
Not a lot of sports that have damp cloth in the rules.
Right, but this one, yeah.
Nor as a playing surface.
Yeah.
Yes, that's absolutely true. The radius is traditionally set at 13 to 14 inches.
All right.
So that's a ways to go for these little snails.
That's a right. Yeah. So they got
That's longer than
like
a foot.
Yeah, that is. Racing numbers are painted onto the shells, or small stickers or tags are placed on them to distinguish each competitor. Now, I think painting on their shells is a little rude.
Yeah, and
'Cause
also
that's a
I mean,
number
what if,
for life.
what if you show up with your snail? Yeah, and it's got your 4 painted on it, and somebody else is a 4. It's like, oops.
Yeah. Imagine if we took LeBron James and painted a number 32 on him. He'd be upset.
He doesn't wear 32. but-
Whatever.
Well, he'd be really pissed if you painted
Yeah,
32
exactly.
on
Be
him.
like, that's not even my number.
I think there's only one way to find out, and that's that we go to Miami and make it happen.
Ah, yes, he brought his talents down to South Beach. I learned
did.
that last episode of Sports Podcast.
Yes, you
That
did.
you can look up on ComedyPodcastNetwork.com. The annual World Snail Racing Championships started in Congham, Norfolk in the 1960s after founder Tom Elwes witnessed the event in France.
It was started in France.
Stolen from the French, y'all.
Which is odd because they eat snails.
That's probably
Yeah.
how it started. I imagine that.
Aha!
French
See
chef-
if you can escape me.
Yes, if you escape, I will let you leave. Oh,
Is
I
anybody-
will damp it.
escargot.
Have you guys actually had escargot?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's delicious.
I've never had escargot.
It's really
I wanna
good.
try
It's
it.
pretty much tastes like butter because it's drowned in butter.
It's like
And
like
it's the
buttery
French that
clams.
came up with this recipe.
Yeah,
Okay.
not Southerners like you'd expect.
Yep.
Like take something gross and drown it in
No,
butter.
I mean, but the French were doing butter long before the Southerners were doing butter.
I'm not gonna fight with you about this because I don't know if that's true.
It's like clams or mussels.
You guys,
Really
you
good.
guys have heard the
Yeah.
escargot joke, right?
I would love to.
Oh, I've kind of forgotten it.
Oh, good joke. You're the joke.
I was gonna paint an S in the side of my car and then drive real fast. When I went through town, everybody would turn and go, "Hey, look at that escargot!"
Moving on, the 1995 race saw the setting of the benchmark time of 2 minutes by a snail named Archie. 2 minutes, that's pretty fast.
That's
Archie
really
the
that's
snail.
really good for a snail.
That's-
2
Snail would be
minutes.
trucking.
2 minutes a foot.
That's kind of like what's the 3 minute mile guy?
4 minute mile. Roger
4 minute
Bannister.
mile guy. Yeah, he's like that of snails.
The Roger Bannister of snails.
Yeah, he's the Roger Bannister of snails.
Well, it's England. They probably say that all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Archie, Roger Bannister.
No,
of
I'm
snails.
sorry. He's the Bruce Banner of snails. He turns into the Incredible Hulk when he gets angry. You don't want to see the snail when he's angry. Let's see. In the 2007 event, sponsored by Persil, I don't know what that is, had to be canceled when the course was waterlogged by a prolonged period of heavy rain, only days after the death of Elwes. The founder of the race died. The race got canceled because of rain.
Wait, how does it get? Are you telling me you can't do a snail race indoors?
I thought this.
Oh, no,
thought this
I
took
imagine
place
this is-
indoors on a table with a wet tablecloth.
I imagine this is like a huge Greek Colosseum kind of thing, kind of like the movie Gladiator, where there's the tablecloth in the middle and there's 100,000 people.
Boy.
Gladiator was actually Roman, not Greek.
And then there's somebody who's holding his thumb to the side and deciding whether the snail lives or dies at the end. You're right, it's Roman, huh? I was trying to get by it, but I'm so ashamed of myself. The 2008 World Championships was won by Heikki Kovalanian, a snail named after the Formula One racing driver, in a time of 3 minutes 2 seconds.
Oh, that's clever. That's clever.
Yeah.
Like that guy.
Yeah, totally. The 2010 World
Couldn't
Championship
quite crack that 3 minute barrier though.
couldn't do it. Yeah, 3
It really
minutes.
is.
2
Archie
seconds.
really is the Roger Bannister of squirrels.
He really is.
Snails.
It's true. The 2010 World Championship was won by a snail called Sydney in the time of 3 minutes 41 seconds. Times are getting slower.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too bad.
It's almost like these snails aren't really trying to put up better times.
Right, it's like they don't know what's going on and
Yeah.
they're just living their life. And people cheer at one point and then they forget about it a second later and then die.
It's almost like
How
that.
is that much different than human life?
Oh man, snail racing weird sports has gotten existential.
Aren't we all just
folks.
racing on a wet washcloth? Isn't that what we're all doing? All right, moving on. The first official competitive snail race in London, which was called the Guinness Gastropod Championship.
God bless Guinness for
Yeah.
sponsoring all
They
sorts
do
of
good
awesome
work.
stuff.
Yeah,
They do
everyone
good
was
work.
drunk and they decided to sponsor it. It was held in 1999. It was commentated by horse racing pundit John McCrick. John McCrick. C-R-I-R-I-C-K.
And down the stretch they come.
That's what he probably sounded like. He started the race with these words: ready, steady, slow. Little play on words there. Usually you yell go. Not McCrick. He said slow. This is a common terminology for the start of the race now. The following year, Guinness featured a snail race as part of their Good Things Come to Those Who Wait campaign. Remember those commercials? Good
No.
things come to those who wait.
Oh yeah.
Because they poured the Guinness all slow
I
like.
do remember that
Yeah.
campaign.
Well, this makes sense because those who wait 3 minutes gets to see a snail cross a washcloth.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Which
huh?
is just like a well-poured pint of Guinness. You
Yeah.
know?
The advert won the Silver Award at the Cannes Lion International Advertising Festival. It went to Cannes.
The advertisement.
There's an
The
advertising
advertisement for the
festival in
Snail.
Cannes.
I guess so. Spelled like the Cannes Film Festival. Sorry.
Not a
It
weird
happens
sport.
in Canis,
Yeah,
Georgia.
exactly. Well, it was self-parodied again by Guinness for Guinness Extra Cold several years later.
Ugh.
Like, that commercial worked so well, let's do it again. Parody, right?
Tut tut.
Yeah, I know. That sucks. Well, the Grand Championship snail race began in Cambridgeshire in 1992 in the village of Snailwell as part of its annual
No.
summer fete.
The name of their town is Snailwell.
I have a feeling it was called Snailwell, and then they're like, we should have a snail racing championship.
Why did they call it Snail? What? How?
Probably because of a abundance of snails in the town.
Or it was named after the Duke of Snailington. Could have been that.
Where exactly is Snailington located?
Oh, New Jersey. Snailington, New Jersey.
There's a Duke.
Moving on! It regularly attracts up to 400 people to the village, more than doubling its usual population.
Oh wow.
Snailwell small, y'all.
You'd think you couldn't get prior to that. You couldn't get 400 people together and say, "Hey, maybe we should come up with a different name because Snailwell makes it sound like a bunch
come
of
on.
doofuses."
Like Los Angeles is that much cooler?
If there were only 400 people here in Los Angeles, I would try to change the name.
Really? To what? What name? Beaver Island?
Funky town.
Is that what you changed the name to?
You shut up.
I know.
It's not an island, Phil, so obviously it wouldn't be that, would
All
it?
right, I offended Joel, so that comes to an end. Another Weird Sports Orange For you, the listeners of Sports Podcast, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. I personally recommend a wonderful book called The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. Joel saw the movie. He said that it was okay. To download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/comedy podcast network. Again, that's audibletrial.com/comedy podcast network for your free audiobook.
Sports.
The Olympics 2012 Update Watch Countdown. Brought to you by Guinness. Will sponsor everything.
Hey there, guys.
Hey,
Today,
Well, hello.
we're still here.
on our Olympic Update Watch Countdown, we're going to talk about the Olympic torch, a grand tradition dating back all the way to ancient Greece. Phil, you even know about this one, right?
I do,
That they-
yeah. I actually, yeah.
The actual Olympic flame is passed from person to person as it makes its way to the Olympic Stadium, and then the lighting of the torch at the beginning is a big part of the opening ceremony.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and call it right now. Bradley Wiggins, the English cyclist nicknamed Wiggo, is going to be the guy
That
lighting.
sounds really racist.
What, Wiggo?
Yeah, I don't like
Well,
it.
it's not.
Lego
Either way,
my Wiggo.
I like that. Like that piece of business.
Wiggo is going to win the Tour de France. He's going to be the first English cyclist to do it ever. And
Oh,
so
wow.
I think he's the guy who's going to light the torch in the opening ceremony.
Miley Cyrus.
You think they're going to pick Miley Cyrus over
Miley
Bradley
Cyrus.
Wiggins?
I am going to go with Daniel Craig.
Ooh, good one. The ultimate
You think
Londoner.
it's going to be James Bond?
Well, he's British.
Yeah.
He's James Bond.
He wears tuxedos.
Tuxedos.
Tuxedos. He wears tuxedos.
Here's the thing, guys.
It watches a Looney
historically-
Tunes.
Yeah.
Historically, it's almost always been athletes who light the torch, the final torch.
But this
lighting.
time they're going to go with a cyclist.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be Hollywood Hogan, Hulk
No.
Hogan's
No.
evil persona.
Yeah, that's just no. But
No, all right.
what we're going to get to is there is some controversy this Olympics as to exactly who is carrying the torch. Now, initially, I was going to try and look up a whole bunch of past historic torchbearers. Apparently, there's just too many of them.
Paul
and they
Revere.
haven't kept. Well, no.
One
I
if
mean,
by land, two if by sea.
But he wasn't carrying them with him, Phil. That
The
was
guy
the
who
signal
lit
to
the torches
No,
for Paul
okay.
Revere.
No,
Torchbearer.
just no. So all right, so you've got like Michael Johnson,
At one point,
American
the fastest
sprinter.
man in the world.
Yeah.
No.
Now just a
he
man.
ran the 2 and the 4. The fastest man in the world is usually given to the 100-meter dash winner.
Okay.
That's the title.
All right.
Either way, he got to carry it through
Downer,
Stonehenge.
right?
I'm sorry.
Makes sense.
America's roller coast. There we go. Now Jordan's back.
But all right,
I
so
love that so much.
8,000 people are going to get to carry the torch from when it arrived in England
8,000
until
people?
when it goes
Does
down.
everyone
Ah.
carry it for like 1 foot? And then hand it off?
It must. Because
Is it
England,
an
not a
assembly
very large
line of
place.
people handing it to
Yeah,
each
Like
other?
A group of Scottish school children reenacted the scene from Chariots of Fire when they're running on the beach.
Wow.
That's
among
gonna be
other
part
things.
of the torch ceremony.
And then just today, like I looked this up, they'll show all the people who are going to carry it over the course of the day. And some of them, like, there's all sorts of different reasons why they do it. And it's usually sort of charity. But, like, for instance, today we had Isis Hill, hometown of Weymouth, age 14, was carrying the flame through Chickerill. And it reads as this. This is their explanation. I hope to use my passion for swimming to not only succeed myself, but to help others to succeed.
Okay, that's inspiring.
Yeah, it's kind of like Michael Phelps did.
But it starts to get worse. So when the torch was in Dublin, it was carried by Jedward.
Jedward?
Jedward. If you guys heard of them? I had to look them
That
up today.
also sounds racist. Like,
No.
oh, you said the Jedward.
Jedward is a pair of twins who are like a pop singing duo with hair that goes straight up. Everyone at home.
Hair that goes Jedward.
Yeah.
Yes.
Towards
Google,
the Jed.
Google Jedward. And as if that wasn't enough, singer in quotes, Will.i.am of the Black Eyed Peas.
Oh.
The world's most famous yeller.
Oh my God.
Yep. That's my money. Mazel tov. That's every Black Eyed Peas song is better when screamed.
And he as if that wasn't enough, that maybe they're diluting the honor of carrying the torch a little by having it be Will.i.am. He carried it through Taunton, England.
Taunton? Is that where Luke Skywalker stops when he's in England so
that
he
was
can
the
cut a hole?
first thing I thought of.
Oh,
I don't know how
okay.
it's pronounced, but Will.i.am did manage to misspell the name of the town when he was tweeting about his experience.
Well, they have odd town names there.
T-O-N-T-O-N? Taunton?
He's also still has a hard time spelling William,
T-A-U-N-T,
for that matter.
Exactly.
Yeah. He puts periods where periods don't belong.
Right.
But you've also got, apparently, along with like the celebrities and the ordinary people, also staff members of relay sponsors like Coca-Cola, Samsung, and Adidas.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah, right?
Fuck
Wait,
that.
just like corporate shills?
Yeah.
No.
Corporate
members
employees.
of those corporate.
Oh, jeez.
And finally, Sir Martin Sorrell, and this is a big scandal
Ooh,
over in England,
sir.
chief executive at advertising giant WPP. We've all heard of WPP, obviously. He was named as one of Fat Cat Row for his proposed £13 million pay package that 60% of his shareholders shot down, and he got a shot to carry the torch.
Wow.
And this was,
The 1% gets to carry the torch while the other 99% has to cheer
Absolutely.
for him.
and if
Terrible.
that's not enough, there's also apparently a lot of former torch bearers. You get to buy the torch when you're done, selling them on eBay.
Wait, whoa.
wait,
How
but-
many torches are we talking here?
8,000?
Well, yeah, it's 8,000 torches.
I thought there would be at least a limited number as they're passing it to each other. They're carrying
no,
it.
but
I thought
you-
this was
they're
like
just
this
passing
grand
the
thing
flame,
where
right?
Yeah, you just pass the flame.
Yeah,
You
it's
keep
kind of
the
like
torch.
that party game where you suck in on a credit card and then somebody else's lips get on the credit card and they suck in when you blow out. And then you pass the credit card around. And then if the credit card falls, you're kissing.
Oh, those lips.
Based on what we've just read about the torchbearer relay, I
Yeah.
want to say that that's actually a pretty apt analogy.
There we go.
Oh.
It's lots of rich and powerful people kissing each other.
Yup.
Well, we watch like suckers.
Thus brings to an end another Olympics countdown update. Watch countdown.
Torchbearer!
All right, that brings us to the close of another Sports podcast. Before we go, I'd like to give you our contact information.
You can email us at sports.com. No, wait, that was terrible. You can email us at sportspodcast@gmail.com. You can tweet at our faces at sports3podcast. That's sports3podcast. You can find us on Facebook by searching Sports Podcast. You can find us on iTunes by searching Sports 3 Podcast. That's Sports 3, all one word, space Podcast. And while you're there, leave us a comment. Leave us a 5-star rating. Tell your friends about us. You can also find us on Stitcher Radio by searching Sports Podcast. It's a really good service. You should check it out. Or you can find all of our back episodes at comedypodcastnetwork.com. While you're there, check out some other great podcasts.
All right.
Japanatron just launched. That's the new Comedy Podcast Network show.
I also
Check it out.
want to clear up something. Do not search for sports, the number 3, the word space podcast.com.
No.
That's a different podcast. That's the Sports Space Podcast.
Right. You don't want to read about
That
space
is-
sports. That's too weird.
It's just entries and entries about that one astronaut who hit the world's longest drive of a golf ball.
Right.
Because it's still going.
It's sports, the number 3,
Well,
and then
it's not-
hit the space bar and then type in podcast.
It's not the world's longest drive.
It's
Right.
the universe's longest.
Oh, creepy. Lights on.
You have received this transmission from the Comedy Podcast Network. For more shows, visit comedypodcastnetwork.com.